From the Opubco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. We're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online right now and buy your pizza at papajohns.com. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for We Pick 'em, our weekly picks segment. We've got all sorts of college football picks to get to, Barry. Let's get started with the big one this weekend. Miami goes to Florida State. Who you got?
Well, I've got Florida State, and frankly, I think all of America's got them. The Seminoles, 22-point favorites in this game. One of the biggest point spreads ever in a matchup of two top 10 teams. The truth is Miami is way overrated. The last two games, the Hurricanes should have lost to North Carolina, could have lost to Wake Forest at home. Florida State has been magnificent all season. This is going to be a mismatch. I think Florida State wins big.
Yeah, I got Florida State winning big in this one as well. I've just been continually impressed by what Florida State's done this year. For the last couple years, they've been a team that in the preseason everybody said, this is the year, and there's been disappointment, and they've just not had the seasons that everybody thought they could have. But this year, with Jameis Winston, fantastic success down at Florida State. I don't know that they get themselves into that national championship game, but I tell you what, they're pointing in that direction for seasons to come, and I think this is just one more step to showing how far out ahead of Miami and anybody else in the state of Florida they are right now. What about this Big Ten matchup, Barry? Michigan goes to Michigan State. Who you got?
Well, I've got Michigan State for the primary reason that Michigan State stinks less than does Michigan. I mean, these are two mediocre football teams. The whole M&N division in the Big Ten is sort of mediocre. Nebraska, Northwestern, Minnesota, Iowa's also in that division. I mean, anybody could win that division, but I think the winner of this game is going to win it. I think it's going to be Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm going with the Spartans in this one as well. Low-scoring game by my estimation. Michigan State, pretty darn good defense, not a very good offense, but I think that defense is better than what Michigan will throw out there. So I'm going with the Spartans. Go green. What about this one out west, Barry? Southern Cal goes to Oregon State. Who you got?
Well, this is a Friday night affair. The Trojans need a victory to sort of get some momentum going on this lost season. Oregon State's still in the running for the Pac-12 title. They played Stanford tough last week, lost by 8, so they could make things interesting if they could win out up until their showdown with Oregon, and I think they will. I think they'll beat Southern Cal. USC's a solid team, solid as in Big Ten M&N division solid, not solid as in can play with Oregon or Stanford or even Oregon State.
Awesome. You're going to piss off every Big Ten fan out there with your comments, but I'm going with Oregon State as well. Oregon State to me has become a team that they don't lose to teams that they're better than. They're maybe an exception every once in a while, but for the most part, they beat teams that they're better than, and they're better than Southern Cal. Maybe there'll come a season in the not-too-distant future with, new coaches at Southern Cal that'll change, but right now, Oregon State's better than Southern Cal, so I'm going with the Beavers. How about this Big 12 matchup, Barry? West Virginia goes to TCU. What happens in Fort Worth?
Well, I mean, the loser's probably not going to a bowl game, so winner has a chance. So it's a pretty interesting stakes, but I'm going with West Virginia for this simple reason. I'm off the TCU bandwagon. I picked the Horned Frogs second. I've been touting their horn for the better part of 6 months. They've just played terrible. Can't excuse them anymore. I don't like West Virginia one bit, but I think the Mountaineers go to Fort Worth and find a way to win.
Well, I'm going to stick with TCU. I have picked against them for the most part in the last few weeks because their offense is just so atrocious, but I think their defense is good enough. I still think their defense is pretty darn solid. I think their defense is good enough to beat West Virginia, but, this is a game not too long ago, 13 months ago, that was a game sort of with a lot of implications. Now, like you say, the implication is, can you get bowl eligible? Wow, how these two programs have sort of underachieved since coming to the Big 12. All right, lastly, Barry, the game out in Lubbock, OSU at Texas Tech. Who you got?
Well, I've got Tech. OSU's gone to Lubbock in 2010 and 2011 and won the game convincingly, won it with ease. Of course, look who quarterbacked the Cowboys in 2010 and 2011. Brandon Weeden was quarterbacking. If they had Weeden today or a reasonable facsimile, Cowboys would win probably easily. But OSU's just not getting good quarterback play. Texas Tech, playing two true freshman quarterbacks, one without a scholarship, has had better quarterback play than has the Cowboys. So I hope the Cowboys can find some quarterbacking. I hope they can get a win, stay in the Big 12 race. I don't think it's going to happen, I'm taking Tech.
Yeah, I'm picking Tech as well. And I think OSU has a chance. I think their defense is going to get some turnovers because Tech turns the ball over. I think their defense has to score off those turnovers. And, if they can run the ball they don't have to get the amount of yardage they got last week out of Desmond Rolling, but if they get something and can control the ball and keep the Tech offense off the field, they got a chance at an upset. But I tell you what, in Lubbock, at night, crazy fans like they always are, I think Tech gets the job done, but I think this should be a fun game. I'm really interested to see how OSU plays out at Tech and see how they bounce back after losing last week at OU. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.